So I got a really interesting comment the other day. Someone was asking, how do I replace the rowing machine when I'm indoors and I have no access to any sort of weights or equipment? So that got me thinking, how could you emulate the rowing stroke, working a majority of the muscles in your body and get that same sort of cardiovascular feel of the rowing machine without having a rowing machine? Well, at Training Tall, where it's all about the tips, tricks, and strategies to take your fitness and health above the average no matter how tall you are, I think I figured out a solution using just a couple common household items. But before we get into the specifics of what I'm going to show you, let's think about what the rowing stroke is. What muscle groups are we working? What actions of our body happen during a rowing stroke? Well, if we start at the catch of the rowing stroke, we know that we are compressing our legs with our body lean forward, and as we drive, we are pushing through the legs. Then we go through hip extension, and then we do a row, so pulling in the handle as that finisher. So essentially working primarily our entire posterior chain, but also the quads as well. So the tops of the thighs, behind the thighs, the booty, and then the arms and back as we row in the handle. But there are still two aspects of rowing that we're going to need to keep in mind if we are going to emulate the rowing stroke at home indoors, and that's the resistance that we feel when we take a rowing stroke and the cardiovascular just nature of taking multiple strokes. So with keeping in mind the major muscle groups that we work, keeping in mind that we need a little bit of resistance to emulate the rowing stroke, and thinking that we need to be able to do multiple strokes in order to get that rowing machine simulation, here's what I got for you. First, you're gonna need a towel, and a traditional bath towel should work, but a long, thin towel is gonna work the best. And what we do is we're gonna place just some sort of household object in the center of the towel that's fairly compact, but weighing between maybe 1 and 5 pounds. And now wrapping the object with the towel by carefully folding the towel over the object, but then twisting in the ends. This is going to help keep the object secure. And would you look at that, it kind of looks like a rowing handle. And this is gonna serve as your rowing machine. Now again, if we think about what the rowing stroke is, the biomechanics of it, we can think of it as a leg drive, a hip extension, and then a row. And so if we're gonna simulate a rowing stroke, we can think about setting ourselves up in a legs compressed low squat position with our arms straight, just like you would at the start of the rowing stroke, and then driving our legs, so pushing our legs through the ground as we extend our hips, and then row in our rowing handle to finish off the stroke. You'll notice that as I'm doing this, I'm not standing all the way straight up, because we know that in the rowing stroke, we don't lay back all the way each rowing stroke, that we do have that slight body angle. This also helps to keep the muscles of our posterior end engaged. It also helps to add challenge to the arm row of the stroke. So this is sort of kind of the rowing stroke. However, since we are on our feet and not constrained to the foot plates of a rowing machine, you'll notice that I am in a squat stance, a squat position as I do this. So having my feet a little bit wider than what a rowing machine would allow, this is going to really help you get the full range of motion of the leg compression without compromising your lower back. But I think we can take this exercise to a whole new level by adding in a hop out with your feet before you take each stroke. So it almost becomes this burpee-like motion with an emphasis primarily on driving the legs and then rowing up our makeshift handle. When you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure that you keep your core tight. This is essential with all of the different moving parts up, down, out, and rowing in that handlebar each and every time. We want to make sure that we are protecting our lower back and really keeping the core tight. And if you wanted to give this a try for a rowing workout, you can simply try 30 seconds of performing the rows and then 30 seconds of active rest recovery and repeating intervals of that. You can extend it out to 45 seconds on, 45 seconds off, minute on, minute off. There's a whole different variety of things you can do. You can even include this with whatever sort of other bodyweight exercises you might be performing. And I know it's not a perfect solution, but we don't live in a perfect world, but I think this is one of the best ways to simulate the rowing stroke, the rowing motion, without having any sort of specific equipment, and especially if you don't have yourself a rowing machine around you. So I'd be curious to hear what you think down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have any sort of makeshift rowing ideas that you use? I would love to hear them. But thank you so much for watching the video. Please leave a like if you did. Be sure to subscribe for more if you like this rowing content and other fitness stuff. And I will see you in the next video.